children, Miss Boma is here once again to take you through the lesson in Basic 2 Science. In Diversity of Matter, we are still talking about materials. We are talking about the 3 states of matter. Hope you remember. What are the states? The solid, the liquid, and the gas. Good. Today, our objective is to understand that many substances can change from their original state to another form when heat or coldness is applied to them. I'm taking it again. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to understand that many substances, the substances such as solid, liquid, and gas, in their original form, can change to a different form when heat or coldness is applied. So we are going to look at how some of them change from solid to liquid, or from liquid to gas, or from liquid to gas. We are going to look at how they change when you apply heat or when you apply coldness to them. Good. Let us look at our keywords for today. Our first keyword is heat. Heat. H-E-A-T. Heat. What does it mean? To become warm or hot. So when something is warm or hot, we said it has what? Heat. Or that thing have heat in it. Okay. Our second keyword is cool. Cool. That is lacking warm or heat. Or something that is not hot. That is not warm. That do not have heat in it is what you call cold. Or the thing is cool. The third keyword is change. Change means what? To give a different form. Something should turn from its original state to a different form. Alright. Now let us look at how heat can be applied to some of the states of matter in our normal life. Our first one is the solid. What happens to solid materials when heat is applied? What happens to solid materials when heat is applied? When heat is applied to solids, they turn into liquid. So, solid in its natural form or in its original form, heat is applied, it turns to liquid. Look at the illustrations on your screen. Solid, then the arrow pointing to the fire. Fire means heat. Then the next thing is what? Liquid. Okay. Our first example is an ice block. Hope you can see the cubes of ice block over there. The cubes of block there. Yes. It's telling you that that substance is in its solid state. Now what is happening to it? It has been put on a what? A gas stove. Of which heat is what? Applied. After heat is applied to the solid block or the ice cube, what do you see? You see liquid. So this substance has changed from its solid state to the liquid state. That is the water in the drinking glass. Let us have another example. Can you see the wood over there? Yes, the wood is in its solid state. Okay, the arrow is pointing to the fire. That means the wood has been what? Put on fire, or they set fire on the wood. That means heat has been applied to the wood. What will happen next? You see smokes coming out. So, something has happened to the original state of the wood. It has burned into what? Into gas, which is the smoke that you see over there. Very good. This is the kind of change I'm talking about. that when you apply heat to some of the states, they tend to another state of matter. Alright, let's look at liquids. What will happen to liquids when heat is applied to them? Some liquids also solidify. Solidify means they change into what? The solid form when heat is applied to them. A typical example is an egg. You see, when you crack fresh egg into a plate, it's in its liquid form. Good. But what will happen to it? Then is you turn to the solid. You put it on fire, bring it to a boil, then the egg, the fresh egg, can now turn into solid, a boiled hard egg. The same thing happens when you fry the egg. Breaking it, pouring it into a frying pan, you put it on fire. What do you see? You see the egg coagulating. Coagulating means it is turning into a solid form. You see the cooked egg being what? Fried. That is the picture you see over there. So the liquid has been turned into solid when heat is applied to it. Isn't that interesting? Very, very interesting. So some liquids also what? Give out water vapor when you apply heat to them. Yes, let's say for example, you put water on fire in a pan or in a kettle. What do you see coming out when the water is boiling? You see water vapor coming out from the pan. That means the water boiling has changed from its state, liquid state, to the what? The gaseous state. The water can continue to boil and boil and boil and finish in the pan. And you wouldn't see the water again. Where will you see the water? It has evaporated into the atmosphere. It has turned into gas. That is what I'm talking about. Okay, now let's move to the application of cold to substances. When you apply coldness to some of the states of matter, what will happen to them? Let's look at that one too. Okay, water vapor turns into liquid when it cools or when it comes into contact with coldness. Yes, let's have another example. Look at the picture on your screen. The kettle is what? Heating. Okay. Now, when you cover the pan or the kettle with a lid, the lid is cold in nature. The moment you cover it, the water vapor coming out from the water will touch the lid of the what? Of the pan. What do you see? You see water dripping out of the lid. This is a typical example of liquid turning into water vapor, or water vapor turning into what? Into liquid when it is what? When it comes into contact with coldness. Now let me give you one example. Do you know how it rains? Yes, this happens when it rains. Heat from the atmosphere rises up to the sky. When it goes to the atmosphere, when it gets to the atmosphere, it becomes cool over there. So when the heat comes into contact with the atmosphere that is cool, it turns into what? Liquid. Then it falls down as rain. This is what happens before rain falls. I wouldn't like to go so much deep into it. You might get confused. So water vapor coming out, rising up to the sky, condenses. When it condenses, it falls as rain. That is a typical example of water vapor turning into liquid. Okay, what again? liquid, when you put it into what? The refrigerator. What happens to it? It solidifies. It turns into an ice block or an ice cube. So what is making it turn into an ice cube? The fridge, the refrigerator, or the freezer. Solidifying the liquid. Okay, children, we have come to the end of this lesson. It's quite short though, but I hope you have learned something from this lesson. It's very, very practical. What have we learned today? Today we have looked at how the various states of matter can change from their original state to another state when heat or coldness is applied to them. Typical example is the what? The ice block being heated, turning into liquid. We also have the fresh egg in a liquid form. When heat is applied, it tends to be a boiled egg or a fried egg. We looked at what? Water vapor. Liquid turning into water vapor when heat is applied. We also looked at how coldness can be applied to certain things and then they change from their original state to another state. Typical example is water vapor rising up into the sky, condensing and falling as rain. Good. I will see you in our Zoom meeting for us to have another interesting discussion over there. I'll be waiting for you over there. Until then,